What's up? What's up? What's up, guys? Thanks for tuning in to the live stream. We got some topics that I've thought about talking about and sharing my view, my standpoint, whatever you want to call it, my suggestions. I have no idea. Anyways, um, before we get into that, I need to do one more thing. And I need to do this. I need to jump on there, and that's the one. Right. And bear with me, guys. Okie dokie dokie okies. Ooh, forgot to do something there. Edit the post. Paste it there. Save. Boom. Okie dokies. Alright. So, that is now done. And I will also be munching on some sausage rolls. Right there. So as you can probably notice, hair's wet. I've had a shower, cleaned up. The reason for that is I've come back from training, and I wanted to talk about that. And then when I was in the shower, I was thinking about something I've been watching. So I don't know if you guys are aware, but there's this Netflix series called Lucifer. Lucifer. So it's yeah, Netflix. Let me just bring up some images. So we got these are the images that are coming up. So let's see this. Oh, there we go. So there's was it? Oh, let me just pause that. Oh, what did I do? Oh, no. Don't want to get in trouble. I just want to click on a picture so you can see. There you go, guys. So the Netflix series Lucifer. Basically, it's, from my understanding, the you know, it's a DC character, obviously taken from a perspective of the Bible. Lucifer, who is the one of God's creations, the angels, one of the angels. Mm. Oh, and that's one of the things I want to talk about. Let's see what you guys know. It's, I think they're, well, at the moment I've been tossing and turning about actually watching this, from, obviously, from a Christian standpoint. It's a very controversial thing to actually watch, but I kept on getting bombarded with like shorts and things like that on Facebook, little short clips of the show, and some of the things I'm like, oh, okay, that's interesting, and it's definitely taking a different angle at looking at Satan, Lucifer, whatever you want to call his name. And yeah, I think the people that created this series been pretty interesting, creative with the take and the angle of this character and the characters in the series. Obviously, it's not exactly accurate to what is mentioned in the Bibles, but don't take my word for it. Have a look for yourself, do your research, and yeah, have a look into that. So we're gonna talk about that later on. I wanted to show you guys. I'll probably mention this a few times in the past. So BMAC, Bar Montino Martial Arts Club. That's my little thing that I've started. So basically, it's a martial arts club, and I'm using different elements in the martial arts sphere. So not just one style or one discipline. Using different disciplines, different styles, different concepts, and trying to roll it into a, what would you call it, a learning regime where you get to know martial arts as a whole, almost like a holistic way of learning the martial arts. So obviously you've got martial arts people saying started in China. All martial arts kind of derived from Chinese martial arts, and that's fair. That's a fair, claim and stuff like that. That's cool. I'm not gonna say no to that. And you might be asking, how can I say that? Look it up. You'll find out that Kung Fu has a lot of influence and input in different cultures that took an understanding, a concept of expressing movement in the human body, and obviously during the times of the development of these styles and things were getting introduced during a time where there's a lot of war, a lot of nasty things, and you had to find a way to either defend yourself or defend your families and friends. And some people obviously understood that they had some strength and wanted to know if that strength can be used and applied in a certain way that they can either deter or inflict pain onto others, that can in turn teach those not to mess with you and your family. Anyways, I'm babbling on. So my martial arts, you can see my logo here. You got BMAC in front of everything here, and then this is basically spelling it all out. Fitness, love, and spiritual. That's my three things that I focus on trying to achieve, to pass on and give to my students. And then you'll see these three circles within this big circle. I like circles, and if you look at strings theory and circles and all the different circles out there, that's gone in another sphere and stuff like that. But circles is holistic. There's no corners, no sides. It's just one thing. Kind of makes everything. What's the word I'm trying to say here? What's the word? Inclusive, or what's the other word that gets thrown out around quite a bit these days? Quality. It basically, like the legend of Arthur and his knights and the round table. The whole idea of making a round table instead of a traditional table where it's rectangular. The person that's most important will be at the head of the table, and then everybody else such and such. Arthur didn't want to do that. Circle, everybody's the same. Everybody has equal input in the group, blah blah blah, It's not. Got to take my pills. Alright, so circle, equality, anyway. So this circle here, you can see some Korean. There's a person, a silhouette, kicking nice and high, and you got the red and the blue, very similar to the yin and yang. And that's Korean Taekwondo. And over here, you got another silhouette, and you got some Japanese kanji. And this one represents ninjutsu. And then down here in this circle, you do have an image of the yin and yang, push and pull, the ongoing struggle to keep balance, and that's basically in Kung Fu. So I've got Korean, Japanese, Chinese. And these are the three main styles, concepts that I use to teach martial arts as a whole. And plus, these three are where I get my traditional training from. With this one here, I am associated with Taekwondo. Taekwondo was my first traditional training in the martial arts, and it's a very good system. And looking at this picture, I'm thrown off by this. This looks like photoshopped in. It doesn't look like a real. It doesn't match with the body, but I could be wrong. It puts me off a little bit. But Taekwondo, I started in the late 90s, early 2000s, and climbed up the ranks, but not as high as some. Obviously, I've had the pleasure of meeting the master, Master Chong Chol Ri. So this guy here he's the original Korean person that brought Taekwondo to Australia. So you can say he's the pioneer of Taekwondo in Australia, and his background is military. He taught the Korean military Taekwondo and different tactics, all that stuff. So he's well renowned, and his brothers as well, his siblings. I believe he's got one in America, and he's got I met at least one more of his brothers in Melbourne, in Australia. See, I did my training in Brisbane, so, and he would say that in Queensland, in the region that I was in, which is Sunshine Coast and Brisbane, he would say that the that region of his Taekwondo schools was the most dynamic, and I was like, oh, yeah, that's cool, that's awesome. And basically, Taekwondo is more military and traditional of the art Taekwondo. Taekwondo, I believe from memory, is if you translate it to English, it's fist first, then foot, or foot first, then fist, something like that. And one of the things I like to tell my my students, say these are some really old photos of back in the day. So there's Master Chung Cho Ri when he was younger there. There he is again in this group. And there is him. I think that was taken probably 4 years ago. I don't know. I've lost contact with the organization. I was an instructor, but life things happen. I moved around, and I trained by myself. And when I came across some students that people I knew that wanted to learn some martial arts, and I shared a little bit of what I did, and then that got me started my own style of teaching. But Taekwondo is basically my foundation that started me in the ways of teaching martial arts. So Taekwondo was the first one, and I consider myself associated with the Taekwondo brand. I might not show it all the time, but yeah. That's Master Chong Chori. So yeah, those who know about Taekwondo and the brand, obviously very family orientated. You do learn like some self defense specifically for children, women, and just general people. Yeah. So there's this specific training for children, and I thought when I first saw it, I'm like, whoa, that's hectic. Usually when kids get picked up from little ones, get picked up either grabbed by the hand or arm, or picked up like this, and then there's one move where the child doesn't fight the grab and pick up, but in fact goes that step further by wrapping their legs around the body, because normally when you pick up children, pick them up like this or on the side, take away before it gets to that point where there's no return. The child is trained to wrap the leg around the torso and get really close. That way, the offender can't do much because the hands are occupied with other things, and the child just goes to town on the face. Yeah. Until the person goes down, and then because the child is around and the offender is going to be falling backwards, the child's going to be fine when it goes out. Yeah. It's hard to explain what I'm trying to say without demonstrating it. So yeah. Before we go any further, I'm gonna put some music on. So again, the Relaxed Movement channel, hit them up. And this is the video background music I'm gonna be playing here. So this is the February edition, and I hope you guys enjoy the background music. So yeah, make sure you head over there, subscribe, like the videos, just help them out. They probably don't need my help. Probably doing much better. Look at that, 12.9k subscribers. Not that all like my channel, our channel. Let's go back. Dashboard. Let's have a look. 2007 93. So yeah. So yeah, these are the guys. Make sure you give them a like. Obviously, not sponsored or anything like this. But if anybody want to, hit us up for a sponsorship, that would be awesome. We would look into that for sure. All right, so. So going back to my logo, So that was Taekwondo. That's my Taekwondo background. Ninjutsu, my background to that is from my time with Sensei John, Dr. John Hudson. His background is also military. He's instructed in the security industry. There's a lot of military tactics here, so that's his background. And this here is the like with Taekwondo, Master Chong Cho Ri. This is the equivalent. This is I'm gonna be very bad at pronouncing his name. So he's the Soke. I'm gonna have to make sure I got his name right. Flip. What's his name? This is gonna kill me. Hey, there we go. Dr. Masaaki Hatsumi. Alright, so he's got a doctorate, obviously. And my sensei has a doctorate also. I think his doctorate is in computer science. So obviously my sensei here, he's been awarded senior master teacher. So he's a Dai Shihan or Shidoshi, and yeah, he's 15th Dan black belt in the Bujikan Ninjutsu and Budo Taijutsu, which is the highest black belt Dan rank achievable in the Bujikan system organization. So like I said, ninjutsu, his background is military. He's served, I believe he served his military time in the from the land of England. So that's where he's from. He's obviously come here to Australia, and I had the pleasure of being taught by him, and that's my background in ninjutsu. This is where I get my background training. So tactical stuff as well, because if you look at ninjutsu in Bujikan here, so this is what Wikipedia says about Bujikan. So it's a traditional martial arts organization that's based in Japan, obviously, and that's our soke. So basically the organization is completed of 9 different schools, Ryoa, and they basically, it's it's commonly known for ninjutsu, but Dr. Hatsumi uses the term Budo, which is meaning the martial arts way. So yeah, because it's got the schools are descended from historical samurai schools that teach samurai and martial art tactics, and in the other side of Bujikan is the ninjutsu schools that teach ninja tactics. So you got if the Japanese culture or history, you had the samurai who were like high officials, high ranking, their status is up there, and to be samurai you had to follow a set of rules that set you apart from everybody else, and you were regarded as in top of the social world in Japan, obviously. And then you have the ninjas who worked in the background, hidden in the just everyday type people. So non-samurai personnel came with tactics, guerrilla tactics, basically, and built up a what am I trying to say? It's getting late and I can't think properly. Built a reputation to, being almost supernatural. It's just, training, knowing your art, and good equipment. So obviously they used equipment to do crazy superhuman stuff. So one may say that you see a ninja climbing up a wall, a vertical wall, and they're using like certain like claw type devices that are attached to the hand and also to the feet that helps them climb those walls. Obviously jumping over high walls, getting away from other people. It's pretty easy to work out. I mean, it's common sense to me now, but for some people it might not be. Obviously Japanese people probably know this. With your weapon, your katana, or it might be a straight edge, straight blade, or a curved blade, depending on what money you have, because a curved blade is more expensive, more higher quality than a straight blade. And usually ninja tools are not the best high quality because they're all being made underground. So they had to use what they had at the time, and they used farming tools and to make them a little bit more usable in combat and stuff like that. So they had a lot of different ninja tools that they used that made them appear supernatural. Obviously, with some movies that are being produced, you can really look at some supernatural stuff that they do, and you can take it that way, or bring it to a reality and understand what you understand. For my self-training, my understanding on ninjutsu in the sense of the darkness and the dark side of it, I can see usefulness, but in where I am now, there's probably no use for that. I'm not in a mindset where I want to be a hired gun or anything like that, because that's one of the things that the ninja was kind of like mercenaries, ones that were hired by people of high standard, high social standing, that wanted to take out their competition, and they used the ninja to do that because the ninja was known to be able to be well versed in guerrilla warfare and different strange tactics that use the darkness to their advantage to do what they need to do, whether that be espionage, gathering information, basically, what's the other words I'm trying to say? Infiltration. And then obviously, you know, your assassinations, which you know did happen, but nothing. I don't think everything got was able to be recorded in history. What the ninjas did in ancient Japan. Anyways, some of those schools obviously passed it down to. It stayed in usual families, clans, and stuff like that. Now, you know, with the world how it is now, they've opened it to anybody that wants to come in and pay for the services. Oh yeah. And Bojikan's gone worldwide. It's in different countries, but if you wanted to receive training from the soccer, you would have to come to Japan, and you need to know how to speak Japanese, because he's quite traditional. That's my understanding. Anyway, so that's my ninjutsu background. So yeah, there's my my sensei, and there's the Soki. And then you can see this here, some images of different hand signals. You probably see that more similar with the anime series Naruto and Boruto. So it's real hand signals. It might not be like, you know, crazy like what's been illustrated in the anime, but you know, the idea, the general basic idea with what they're doing with their hand signals is basically flexibility. You know, bringing flexibility to your fingers, and in turn that will also, like, if you go to a massage parlor and they have they talk about the massaging of the feet, and then how different parts is can affect different bodily organs. So fingers is a very similar thing. So different hand signals and motions will give you either strength in the fingers or activate different things in your body. Yeah, just keep in mind, ninjutsu does come from the Japanese culture, and the Japanese culture has not always been Christian friendly. So they had trying to remember what I remember about different religion systems that I had in Japan. They had Buddhism, Taoism, and I'm sure there's more. Those are the two that I remember. Taoism is related to the yin and yang, the push and pull type thing. So yeah, that's my background in ninjutsu. So over here, kung fu, uh, you'll see that's what I'm currently training right now. I've self-taught most of the things I've known about martial arts. At the moment, my current traditional training is Wing Chun at the moment, and this is the school I'm going to, Central Coast Wing Chun Kung Fu place. So we had training tonight, and I've come home, and I was quite sweaty and tired, a little sore, but that's okay. You know, that's part of training. You get sore because some of your muscles are not being used as well as they should be. You know, in times of peace, it's easy to just go relax, take it easy, get fat, get slow, get heavy. Your mind goes in a different way. Martial arts for me is that, you know, is that way of bringing me back into a state of readiness, a state of awareness, state of readiness to overcome whatever that I might be facing. So martial arts does that for me, and because it works, I can see that it can work for many others. So yeah, this is what I do these days now, is I go and do my training at Wing Chun. And Wing Chun, if you don't know what Wing Chun is, it's Kung Fu, it's Chinese art, and the latest adaptation of the art you can see in the movies Ip Man. They have 4 different movies of Ip Man. Basically, it's an illustration of this guy here. This is Ip Man, who was the teacher of Bruce Lee. So you can see here in this picture here. So there's young Bruce Lee, and there's Ip Man. And what they're doing there is called Chi Sao. If you translate that to English, sticky hands, I believe. So basically, this is a training drill exercise where you're constantly keeping a bridge, like contact with your opponent, and then, you know, doing the exercise, you're relying on not just seeing but feeling. So when you feel your opponent moving their arm a certain way, then you have a way to counteract or deflect and simultaneously attack. So that's what Chi Sao is all about. Chi Sao is all about. It's where you activate, you know, your other sense, which is touch. So you're not just using your eyes, you're using touch. Alright? Chi Sao, which is a good exercise. And you can see some more Chi Sao images here. Very good. And obviously, Ip Man, if you really get into Wing Chun, there is a because of the time, either masters have put in their interpretation, their input, and made some changes. You have what they call in system lineages. So different lineages will be slightly different to another lineage. So my lineage is coming from my Sifu, my Sifu Nathan, and his upline is Sifu Nick, and then so on and so forth. In fact, if I get my thing, let me just get back to you on that one. So I got my manual here. This will tell me more details about my Sifu's lineage. So I don't know, you can see that. So there's my Sifu down here, and there's his Sifu, and Nick's Sifu is over here, Jono Chong, and his Sifu is Tao Kung, and his Sifu is Quan Yi, and his Sifu was Leong Chun, and then his Sifu was Leong Jan, and then from there you have Leong Yi Tai, close range, and Wong Ya Bo, long range. So I'm not entirely sure what that means there, but from there Leong Lang Kwai, and then Yim Ying Wing Chun, and then Nung Mu, and then Nung Mu got that Nung Mu got his or her training from the Shaolin Temple. Okay, so that's mine. That's where my lineage is coming from, my Wing Chun lineage. Alright, so this probably doesn't make any sense to you, but basically Ip Man's Wing Chun is it's slightly different. Certain moves are slightly different to what I've been taught in my Wing Chun lineage. Ip Man's they say that his Wing Chun is from Hong Kong. Hong Kong's Hong Kong? Because you probably see it in the movies if you watch them. After he got shot, and in the first one, or the second one, I can't remember. Well, the Japanese came and World War One. Could be World War One. Anyways, Japanese invaded China, and they did some crazy things. Ip Man was from the north of China, Then he moved to Hong Kong, which is down south, and he brought his Wing Chun from up there to down here. Obviously, Wing Chun had been taught in different places by then. So yeah, the man's got a different, slightly different version of Wing Chun, and the Wing Chun lineage I'm a part of is slightly different to his, but come from the same, same place where it originally from, which is the Shaolin Temple in China. So yeah, and I watched this one video where a YouTuber went to a Shaolin Temple, learned from them, and some of the stuff there, I'm like, oh. I think if I was younger, I could probably be okay with the training that they doing there. Obviously, there's a lot of conditioning training. I do a little bit of conditioning training myself, outside of my traditional training that I do in class with my teachers, my instructors, my sifu, my sensei, my sabom, whatever you want to call them. I do my own training outside those trainings because I'm a martial artist and I want to be a bit better than what I am now. And as a martial artist, you naturally want to do, better. You want to be toned, you want to be strengthened, you want to exercise all the different things so you can get a better understanding of the movement and the application of the movement. So yes, it's like school. You go home, you have homework, you do the homework, but obviously, you're limited to what you've been given and how you were instructed how to do it. Martial arts is not just physical, but it's also mental. With the times now becoming more theoretical, and it's just becoming more and more modern. The old days, you just basically leave your family and you'll go to the training center under your sifu, under your teacher, whatever, and you stay with your sibling students and you learn the art. You do the chores and stuff like that to help the school flourish and bring more people into the school. So the more students there is, the better for the school to grow and bring income and be distributed to the students and whatever. Those were the days. That's how they did it. You would live in the school and you would work at the school. So these days, if you go to any Shaolin temples, you would spend time being at the temple, working and training and honing your skills and training and working at their facility. I remember in the video the YouTuber said that they would be training, conditioning, doing everything that they do for martial arts training and learning the art and understanding all that things, but also doing time in the temple, doing temple duties, which could be sweeping or moving the towels or doing the washing plates or towels and whatever linen that might be doing. So yeah, temple work. Those were the days. So back to what I was trying to say. So those are the three main, schools, disciplines styles I use to teach a more holistic martial arts training program. I use Taekwondo as stage 1, which here you'll see there's a little symbol, and this symbol here represents the element of earth. This one here, element of water, element of wind, element of fire, and then spiritual element. So there is a total of 5 stages in my training regime. So everybody starts off trying to understand the concept of the element of earth. Basically, if I had to break it down, it's basically understanding the importance of stance. So if I were to stand up, let's see, follow me. So if I was to stand up, move the mic a little bit. If I was to stand up, right now I'm pretty stable. But if I lower my center of gravity, bending the knees, you're activating the legs, and you're grounding yourself into the ground more. Therefore, you're a little bit harder to move. If you move your legs in a certain way to give you balance and strength to holding stance, walking legs, or activating certain muscle groups, and then tightening the core, connecting to the hip, connecting to the legs. That way, you're more grounded. Different stances serves different purposes. You have like a side stance, a forward stance, front stance, whatever you want to call it. Some may be short, some may be long. The longer, obviously, the lower you go. More lower your center of gravity becomes. Obviously, be hard to move from this into something that you need to move quickly with. But being in this, in fact, I was watching a movie recently. We were watching the old one that seen before. Brad Pitt. He was playing Achilles in the movie Troy with Eric Bana. Was an Australian actor, and one of the things that Brad Pitt did in his attacking stances is it's like a forward stance where keep the slide on so you can see it a little more. So it's lower, so your center of gravity is grounded, and you're almost like, and you obviously his attack is forward, and its leg here is locked out as a brace. He's putting most of his weight in that front leg here, and he's got his sword out, and he's holding his shield on his back, going like that. And it's a very solid stance that pushes your opponent away from you, or like what he was he was using a sword, so more chances of plunging the blade in your opponent. So yeah, that's just an example of the importance of stats. If you understand the importance of stances, the better you're connected to the ground. When you're connected to the ground, you're more solid. You're as the cartoon series, The Last Airbender, Avatar, where they talk about, you know, the different elements. You got water, earth, wind, and fire. Where Toph is trying to teach earthbending to Aang. Aang is he comes from the Air Nation, where they're air nomads and they're free. And the opposite, total opposite to the earth element is earth. Earth, solid, doesn't move that much. Likes to be strong, centered, and very tough. Wind moves around like free. There's no solidity with it. It moves around things, and basically it's hard to put something so nimble, so soft, so flexible down onto the ground. But then again, wind versus earth, it can also be hard. That's why he had difficulty understanding and getting the concept of earth bending. Probably wondering what the heck am I talking about. But yeah, look it up, guys. Avatar, The Last Airbender. It's a cartoon series. I recommend it. Check it out. They do use martial art techniques in their movements to do their element bending. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Anyways, so I try to start off all my students with the element of earth, and the techniques and styles that I use are Taekwondo, karate, all different styles and disciplines that have emphasis on stance. I use that to teach, help my students understand the concept of the element of earth in the context of martial arts. And then the second stage is water, third wind, fourth is fire. So with water and air, I use the disciplines of Kung Fu, the different styles of Kung Fu. So you got water is it's like it flows, it redirects, and it can as Bruce Lee has stated in one of his interviews, to be water, because when you put water into something, it becomes that thing. I'm gonna try to quote it. When you put water into a teacup, it becomes the teapot. If you put the water into a cup, it becomes the cup. Be like water, my friend. Yeah. Yeah, so I use different Kung Fu styles to illustrate that element. water, becoming water. Water is basically adapting. You go into a situation, you look what you got, you use what you do, use what you got, and then get yourself out of a situation. And then you got wind element, where I predominantly use Tai Chi, which is a soft art, allows you to move your body in a very, what's the word I'm looking for here, not grace, but like deliberate, out of the normal positions. So you got a lot of going low, then going up and across, up and down, and then obviously circulating the air that you're breathing. You're breathing through your nose, comes through the stomach, it comes through your lungs, your stomach, whatever you're using, and then comes out your mouth. You're circulating the air that's around you, using that oxygen, bring it into your system. Your system does its thing, takes the water out of the oxygen, puts it into your system, lubricates the muscles, because that's what the water does, is lubricate the human body. If you think about it, water contains a lot of information. You look at it. If you're a scientist and you take that information out, water can tell you a lot of things. Where it's been, what it's done, what it's seen, what it's gone through. I mean, you think about it. Animals drink the water. They pee it out. It goes into the ground or in the water, and becomes that. Water has memory. That's what I've heard. And yeah. Anyways, get back to wind. I predominantly use Tai Chi for that. So you're learning to breathe in a certain way, and you're moving your body in a certain way. The muscles are interacting in different ways that you probably haven't done in a long time, and you're receiving and you're achieving what I have stated here: fitness and good health. And then with doing the program that I have, you do self-develop into something more. And then this element here, the last element, which is spiritual, that is just something I try to entice my students to get to. When you get there, I tell them, when you get there, you will find out. I will tell you when you get there. You got to go through 4 stages before you get to that last one, which is. And basically, the symbol that you see here is basically my stamp. It's my stamp. You can't see it very well there because it's quite small, but yeah, that's my stamp. This is where I bring it all together, try to get you to understand that body with all the different four stages of element training, And then in the fifth one, we go into a little bit of spiritual stuff, and then trying to get it all together and give you a full understanding of what I've been trying to do this whole time with you. But obviously, just doing the first stage, the earth element, you will, my students do get what they can achieve the self-development, fitness, and good health there. So here's a little bit of info I have here and here. So let me just read it out. Bottom Martial Arts Club, BMAC, uses the interpretation of the elements as the core goal to achieve an understanding of self and one's surroundings. What does that mean? What I'm trying to say there is that using the goal to understand the elements, you get to understand yourself more and your surroundings. So if you have self-awareness, understanding of your own being, meaning knowing your weaknesses, your strengths, to a very, very deep level, not just surface stuff. You know, we dig in and we find what makes you tick, and then you look at yourself and find out a little bit more than you thought you knew about yourself. That's my goal there. I want you to understand you more, and then once you get that, we start looking. It's an ongoing thing. You're learning yourself. You're learning about your environment as a martial artist, and having to defend yourself in a situation where you got multiple attackers. You want to be aware of your surroundings. Your surroundings, like for example, there's another chair there. There's a chair on the ground. There's all this stuff here. And the space I have is very minimal if I had multiple attackers coming at me. So obviously, I'm in a sitting position. I'm vulnerable. It's not a good position to defend myself, but I can defend myself in this position if I need to. But if I want to be effective in my deflecting and redirecting and controlling the situation, I need to step back, get into a stance where I'm going to show them that I'm not afraid. I'm going to welcome this situation, and I'm going to do my very best to control it and find another way for this energy to flow somewhere else. Alright, so your multiple attackers might be coming at you very angrily. Their state of mind might not be very clear. They might be clouded, and understanding that may be the case. Obviously, you can get confirmation by looking at their body language, how their eyes are moving, how the hands are moving, how the body is moving. See all these little tiny things that give you more information about that particular person. The only way you're going to do that is to look at your own self. Look at the little things that you might not have noticed before. Alright? You might find out, like for example, you might notice a little quirk that you do that you didn't know about, and you realize, okay, what's that all about? And you go, look at it, and you do experiments about it, and find out what makes that particular part of yourself activate or deactivate or react to different things, environmental or mentally, spiritually, whatever it is. Alright? Once you do that to yourself, then you'll be able to do that to anybody around you. Like, you know, I've explained, I don't know if I said it to you guys, but basically, I consider myself an observer. I like watching things, and by watching things, I get to learn more things. Because that's how I learn, by seeing and then interpreting in my head, and then take it out, express it. And if what I've taken from that and my interpretation is somewhat close, then I can take that back in, interpret it a little bit more, get closer to what the real thing is about. I don't know if I'm making any sense, but in my head it makes sense. I know I can't express what I'm trying to say properly because I'm not a person that knows a lot of words. I know emotion, reaction, and quirks. That's what I know. But anyways, you do that to yourself so you can be better at reading things, and then once you get really good at that, then you'll be able to read anybody. You might not be correct all the time, but if you practice it and you keep on work on it, and then you start seeing that we don't like using the word assumption, but your assumptions or your guesstimations on certain situations become true, then you know you're getting the concept of knowing self, and then understanding self in one's surroundings. That's what I mean by that, by this here, understanding of self in one's surrounding. Understanding of self and one's surrounding. That's what I mean by that. So, and then to achieve these goals, the club uses the practical training of multiple styles in the martial arts. While doing so, one develops self and learns essential skills in life. Like I said, once you learn how to read yourself and get really good at it, then you'll be able to read others and be good at it. By having that particular skill, you can avoid certain situations. Hey, hello, welcome. So, by having that particular skill, you can read most situations and you can make a decision whether you want to be in that moment or not, because you're going to either want to protect yourself or protect your friends and family. And having this particular skill will come in handy to help you safeguard, what is important to you. But yeah, that's what I'm doing with martial arts in general. So I'm planning to continue doing BMAC in all aspects of things that I'm doing in the world. So my idea is that I want to share these things that I've learned, pass it on to somebody, let that person find his or her own path, using the skills that he or she gets from my training, from my instructions, from the training that they will receive, and hopefully they can do really good things. Because I have a, like, you know, an oath type thing with my program, and I try to make sure the students understand what I mean by that. I want them to be good citizens, and using the things that I teach them, they can use that to be that person. Be a person that contributes positively to their environment, positively contribute in society, whatever society that they are in. Yeah. So my current traditional training now is a wind shot, where I use my tan sao, dong, bong sao, hook sao, vertical punch, chain punches, flexions, simultaneous attack and defense, heel sao, down sao, bok choy, hot sao, all the different ones, on sao, all the different applications that I could learn from that. You know, I only got this year left. Learn as much as I can, so when I go on mission, I'll be able to be confident a little bit more to teach what I know. My Sifu knows that that's what I'm going to be doing. He knows that I want to learn as much as I can. That's why I do my best to attend all classes. There's 3 classes a week, Monday nights, Thursdays, Friday nights. Yes, I know Friday night for a Seventh-day Adventist, it's the Sabbath, but I prayed about it. I am certain that this is what God wants me to do, because I'm going to take it with me on the mission and use it as a tool to bring the people in. I don't know who it may be, but somebody may be able to relate to wanting to learn martial arts, not just for fighting, but to knowing themselves, and to be able to strengthen themselves by their own strength. And then when they get to a point where they can only do so much, they're gonna learn, be able to lean on higher power. My Creator God created all this, created you, created me. Surely God put all things into light, understanding self and the connection to self, spiritual. Yeah. That's why I mention Christian friendly. Because the martial arts is frowned upon in the Christian community. To be honest, I think it's silly. It's ignorant, and just if you don't understand something, try not to put that group or that organization, whatever it is that you don't understand, that makes you uncomfortable, go do something about it. Learn something about what you don't understand. Find your own understanding about the topic. Understand what makes it. And if it's really bad or what makes you comfortable, then you're either going to let them know or you remove yourself from that. Only you be able to really take that decision, but be sensible. Alright? Don't put something down just because you don't understand it, or just because it makes you uncomfortable. Take yourself away from that place, that position, that environment that makes you uncomfortable. It might not make other people uncomfortable. It might be just because you're uncomfortable with the fact that you don't understand or you don't have enough information. It makes you uncomfortable about the whole thing. I remember after doing a class, and I've been doing it in my carport. I had students come over, we did a session, and they left, and I live in a very Seventh-day Christian community here, and elderly lady, very very kind, accepting, I guess, came over with a concern, genuine concern. She asked me, like, why are you doing martial arts? And I try to explain to her what I'm trying to do with martial arts, my martial arts. And I'm explaining to her that I'm putting a Christian spin on it. And she's like, oh, okay, interesting. Then I explained to her, martial arts is basically another physical activity, like going for a run, going for a swim, doing sports, basketball, football. It's just a different way of doing it, to exercise the body, strengthen the body. And she goes, oh, why don't you do that? And I explained to her, it's just another way of doing it. This is what I'm good at, and I want to teach others, and with a Christian spin on it. Because, different elements of martial arts you don't have to teach if you don't want to. As long as you understand why that part was taught in the first place. What's the role of that particular thing that you don't want to put in your program, And the particular stuff is within the ninjutsu stuff. There's some really dark stuff there that I know of that is considered non-Christian, totally against Christian faith, and I understand that. I see why that was part of the art, why it's part of the practice, and I can see that I can do without that part. I mean, I understand and I can practice it if I want to, and I'm gonna explain it to my students, and then they can choose whether they want to learn that part or not, and then I'll teach them or share that information that I have about that particular part of the martial arts. And yeah, so yeah, that's what I wanted to share about martial arts on my side of the world. This is my thing that I do, BMAC. I'm thinking of trying to do classes online, because surely I'm gonna have students from where I am now, and they probably want to continue training under me or receiving instructions from me, and I don't want to take that away from them because I'm going to another place. So yeah, I'm gonna try to work out how I'm gonna do that, the best way for me to do that online. I know that I'll probably continue using Wix, the Wix up here. So Wix.com, if you wanna sponsor us, that would be awesome. Yes. So that's what I wanted to say about martial arts in this live stream. So the other thing I wanted to speak about is this thing here, this TV series, the Netflix series Lucifer. So if you don't know about the biblical character Lucifer, yes, that's his name, Lucifer. Also been given the name Satan, which I believe is if you break that word in, it means what is it? Adversary. Person that's against something. So Satan, Lucifer, he was an angel. He was up there. In the my understanding. Okay, don't quote me on everything. If you want to look into it, go check out the Bible. The Bible has all that information. The Bible can be used as historical information, instructions on how to live a good life, instructions about stay clean, obviously old school. You'll find that mentioned in the Old Testament more often, more than the New Testament, because the New Testament Jesus talks about basically does away with some of the cultural practices. In fact, I was watching an episode from the series Chosen, and some of the angles that they illustrated is so beautiful, and just gives you another way of looking at, the disciples, the apostles. And this particular one thing, oh no, I lost it. Where did it go? No, I lost it. I lost my train of thought on that, where I was going with that. Sorry guys. These things happen when you're got my brain. Yeah. Lucifer is a character, and he was in the sense of hierarchy. You had God, the Creator, God the Father, up there. Then you have the Holy Spirit, God's Spirit, and Jesus. the Prince of Peace. All right, underneath God. This is just my interpretation. All right, don't take my word as gospel. Look at it for yourself. All right, so you got that hierarchy, and underneath them is the angels, and on top of the angels, you have certain archangels who stand above normal angels. Alright, and the Bible does talk about certain archangels taking up a role in and mentioned in the Bible, doing what they need to do. One of the roles that Lucifer played in heaven, which I believe will be towards the constellation of Orion. So if you see the three dots, that's the belt of Orion, and then the rest of the constellation of Orion. I believe that's where the kingdom is, over there. Not saying that's that's where God is all the time. God is everywhere. We know that because that's what it says in the Bible. God is everywhere, in every time, past, present, and in the future. So Lucifer was the choir master. He was head of the choir. He basically understands the concept and the importance and the power of music. The music industry, very big. He's got influence in that. And he does mention that in they do mention Lucifer making mention of the the music. But yeah, music is being used to influence a lot of people in different ways, and makes you feel different things depending on your connection to that particular music style or the emotions that the music is bringing in from within yourself. For me, I love music, man. Music's great. I'm a DJ, and I get to listen to all different type of music, and I don't have a preference. If I had to choose one, and it's not, my ultimate one that I go for, but hip hop, urban, that genre has its roots in older type music, blues, R&B, rhythm and blues, the real rhythm and blues, jazz. It's all connected to that. And unfortunately, Lucifer knows that. He uses everything that he can to steer you away from looking at God. Lucifer is that one character that wants to take you away from God. God created Adam and Eve after he had already created the angels in the Godhead. Godhead and the angels, from my understanding, already existed before God decided to create Earth, the rest of the stars, the animals, all living things on Earth, including Adam and Eve. God made Adam first because, I don't know if you noticed, mentioned all angels were males. No female in heaven. The only female that was created was Eve. First female created, according to the Bible. I mean, God could have created other females, other planets. I don't know. All I know is that we have the Bible, and the Bible says that Eve was the first female that was created. Before that, it was just males, which kind of points to the fact that God was a male. Holy Spirit was a male, but it was spirit. You can't really put a gender on that, I guess. But anyways, besides the gender pointing things, Eve was the first female created, but she wasn't created from like Adam was created. Eve was created from a piece of Adam, and they talk about the emphasis of where this piece came from. That makes it interesting, right? The piece that Eve was made out of was a piece of rib bone from Adam. And scientists and doctors, this is what I understand, ribs can regenerate, they can heal, they're flexible. God took a piece out of Adam, and it was in contrast, right? You got feet, toes, ankle, then you got your calves section, then your knees, the quads, hip, right? That's all bottom. And top you got hair, head, scalp, eyes, ears, mouth, chin, shoulders, attached to the shoulders, the arms, the chest, and the rest of your torso. Eve was taken out of the middle part of Adam. What they're trying to say is that Eve wasn't taken from hair on top of the head, meaning that she can't be above Adam, and Eve wasn't taken from a toe, meaning that Eve can't be below Adam. Understanding the concept that she's being grabbed from the middle, meaning that she is flesh of Adam's flesh. They are one. Eve was picked from the middle of Adam. So not above, not below, in the middle. And that, I don't know if that, makes things interesting for you, but middle means neutral, equal. But God does say in the Bible that when married couple, husband is the head of the family, and that the wife will take on the role of letting husband take control. And if you really look at that and put it into something that you understand, and for me, I understand dance, music, and stuff like that. And this movie kind of explains it fairly well. Antonio Banderas, he played the part of a person who kind of introduced dance into schools. I think before he came up with the concept of teaching dance, a dance form, and teaching it in a school, it wasn't part of the curriculum, but it was using it to give the students something else to do than be, going out there and vandalizing things. Anyways, long story short, for Antonio's character to convince the parents, the faculty, the principal of the importance of introducing dance as a teaching tool, potential teaching tool for students, he demonstrated. And the dance form that was teaching these kids was ballroom, right? You had to have ballroom dancing. Takes two. You have self, usually a self, male, and a partner, female. Alright? So, female plays a part, male plays a part. The male leads, and then the female allows the male to lead. And the thing he was trying to explain while he was dancing with one of the female people that was in that meeting was that he was explaining that for a young person to be in charge of another takes strength, and even more strength for a young female to trust that male to do the right thing and lead her in the dance. So that's what so yeah, the female's role in the marriage or partnership, particularly male female in a relationship, is that the male's got to be confident enough to lead and protect his female, and the female is going to be strong, confident enough to allow her male to lead her in the things that she's got to do. And that takes courage and strength. So, I don't know. Up to you guys. That's how I look at it at the moment. In the marriage, the male's got to be confident, strong, and then the female's got to be strong and confident. Let her male lead. Because if you think about it, you let somebody take control of your own life, it's very scary. But if you trust that person to do the right thing and lead you through life as he sees fit, that takes a lot of courage and trust. So yes, God put these things in place way before we humans decided to make a debacle, crazy decisions on how marriage should be. It's like that one scene with Antonio Banderas explaining and showing the an illustration of how ballroom dancing is a way of teaching young males and young females strength, understanding, trust. Yeah, that's right. I know ballroom dancing. I know different types of dancing, but I wouldn't say that I'm good at them. I know them. Doesn't mean I know how to dance it properly. There's other dance forms that I'm just like, yeah, no, thank you. That's not my thing. Ballet, jazz, contemporary. I mean, I know how to do some movements for contemporary and jazz and in ballet, but I don't go out and practice it all the time. My go-to dance forms is break dancing, hip hop dancing, like the different elements of that, pop and locking, crowning. I mean, what's it called? Crumping. Yeah. Me, I don't do twerking because that's for that to actually work, you need to have a big butt. I don't have a big butt. No chunk in the trunk for me. Even though I'd like to have some chunk, but no, I don't have a chunk. I have an Asian butt. Almost no butt. Anyways, yeah. Lucifer. He was up there with the big boys. And you'll see in the scriptures, I think the thing that made him go the way he went. It's like everybody on earth now, is that free will. He basically wanted more. He saw his reflection. He saw that he was handsome, good looking, sexy. He thought himself to be the most beautiful thing in heaven. Then he wanted to be higher than Jesus, the Prince of Peace. And then went even higher than to say he's above the Most High. That's pretty ridiculous. But those are the things that he was going through. That was going through his mind, his heart. That's what he was doing. He looked at his own reflection and he fell in love with himself. That wanting more led him to become the first sinner in the whole entire universe. He fell hard. And I can only imagine what he would be feeling. And, you know, just understanding that his time is coming to an end. Imagine being in his position. And the Bible does tell you that he's gonna do more bad things. Some Christians are speaking about the time of tribulations of the saints. It's referring to people that follow Christ, understand and comprehend the concepts of his teachings, right? Not all Christians understand his teachings, and some Christians have not received all of Jesus's teachings, and therefore have no idea who Jesus is proper, in entirely. And where was I going with this? But anyways, the Netflix series Lucifer looks from, you know, I watched the whole first season and I've just gotten to completing, I think, episode 3 of season 2. And in season 2 they brought in a mother. Obviously, my understanding, this series is, you know, taken from the DC characters of, you know, Lucifer. So a human, you know, illustration and storytelling of this particular character, Lucifer, has a mother. We know in the scripture there was no mention about a mother. You got the Godhead and then the angels. God created the angels not by conception, you know, that one. We do that as humans, create babies that way, and animals, right? God created angels from nothing. Oh, that's what I assume. From nothing, because he created Adam from dust on earth, the dirt on earth, and then created Eve from Adam's rib. And from that little thing, he was able to human being. So I would suspect that when God did similar thing with these sons, angels. Angel. And the funny thing about angels, how they are described in the scriptures, they don't just have just the big pair of wings. Like different angels have, depending on their position in the hierarchy, they might have multiple wings. I remember reading a passage where this particular archangel had wings that covered parts of his body. There was a wing for his foot, another wing for his other foot, a wing for his arm, and another wing for his arm, and it had wings that actually made him fly and hover in a position. Yeah, look into the Bible, guys. Get as much information as you can. Yes, it's hard to read the Bible, I know. I'm not a big reader. But yeah, if you enter into the Bible, you gotta ask, the Creator, Jesus Christ, Holy Spirit, the Godhead, to give you wisdom to see what you need to see. Because the Bible was created in a way, it almost like during the time of the World Wars, World War I and II, where they, intelligence had to try to decipher the coding and the cryptic stuff. The Bible was written in such a way so that the enemy couldn't understand what's going to happen. It tells you in the Bible. Don't ask me to quote it or reference it. I don't know where it is exactly, but it does say, and I'm paraphrasing in my own words, in my own understanding, at the end of time, nobody knows but the Creator, the Godhead. Nobody knows except for, the Godhead. Not even the angels, nor Lucifer or his angels. Yes, that's right. When a large portion of the angels that defected to Lucifer's side were all cast out of heaven. There's a scripture on that one. So Lucifer had other fallen angels that joined him on his side. Eventually, there is talk about that particular passage is almost like a historical recording of what's to come in the future. Big battle in heaven. Is talk in different parts of the Bible. You can read that Lucifer, Satan, the adversary, still communes and speaks with God. Still going from earth, heaven, heaven to earth, earth to heaven, blah blah blah. he's able to travel both. There's that concept that that big battle in heaven is yet to come. But yeah, so Lucifer is gonna have fallen angels follow him in his sinfulness, and yeah, it's gonna be pretty crazy. But yeah, he and his angels do not know when the end is coming. The Bible also illustrates it this way. It's like birth pains. When females are be able to understand this more, especially the ones that are giving birth. When you are in labor, usually, this is my understanding, you're gonna go into labor and you feel the tightness, the cramps and everything, and the pain will be like, for a few seconds at first, and you're like, and then it'll be gone, finish, and it'll come back after a while. And this is how the Bible illustrates the end time, is that we will not know. It'll be like birth pains. There will be signs that will come and then disappear, and then they will come, they will disappear, and then the duration between the gaps will become shorter and shorter, and the pains will be bigger and bigger. Understand? Following me with that? I just followed? Awesome. Basically, I believe it's referring to natural disasters. So we know that now we're seeing more natural disasters coming more frequently. According to that illustration, the gaps between these natural disasters will be shorter, and there will be more of it. So when that is happening, it's getting much closer towards the end. Doesn't say that that's going to be the end. It illustrates that it's going to be like birth pains when it comes towards the end of the time. So the signs of natural disasters, what we see now, is just the beginning, guys. So yeah, with that knowledge, guys, I'll leave it up to you to do whatever you need to do with that. If I had that information and I knew that, I would not be on the coastline. Honest. There's gonna be tsunamis. Earthquakes gonna happen out in the ocean. That's gonna create tsunamis. All your living spaces near the waters gonna be underwater. If you're on an island, go towards the middle of the island. Climb the highest part of that island. Build a house there. You're gonna survive a little longer there, unless you don't want to. Then you go to the coast, and then you receive that water. You'll be taken. Like I said, don't take my word for it. Search the scriptures for yourself. Get your confirmation so you understand what you know. What you hear from me is considered hearsay. So don't lean on that as gospel. Like I said, go check it out for yourself. That's what the Bible tells you. Go and test your understanding. Don't lean on your understanding. Go to the scriptures. Get your understanding from there. And yeah, like I said, the angle that they do with the Netflix series of Lucifer, they, so far my understanding is that Lucifer has daddy issues, but according to the Bible, that's not his issue. His issue is that he coveted the position of God, and he wanted to put himself above that. Yeah. That's yeah. Like I said, episode 3 completed in season 2. He's got a mother, and the mother had been put in hell, which is another thing that the Bible sort of like, confirms. There is no such thing as hell. There is no people damned forever, internally tormented in a place called hell. There is, however, a lake of fire, and in this fire is also a name that the Bible describes as the eternal flame or eternal fire. And the funny thing, it's the same fire that God used to burn down Sodom and Gomorrah. Those two cities that was basically full of sin, and yeah, it's nasty. It's in the Old Testament. It's part of Abraham's story. Abraham left where he was because he received conversation with God. God told Abram at the time to take his wife and his family, and his family at the time was his nephew Lot and his family. So 2 families left where they were with all their servants and crops and livestock. They left that space, traveled to a place that God said was going to be theirs. They positioned themselves in there, and I don't understand why it was such a small space, because there was a discussion where Lot and Abram's peoples were having difficulty living in the same space, and Abram did say something along the lines, "Man, it's too much people there. We're having conflicts here and there. If you choose to go to the left, I will go to the right. If you choose to go to the right, I will go to the left." Lot chooses to go a certain way, that, you know, the part that had, you know, those cities that had great sinful things. So yeah, long story short, Lot and his wife, his family, decide to, after, you know, some things had happened, they try to avoid being out in the wilderness. They go into the city where they believe it's going to be safer, and they find themselves living in Sodom. Sodom was one of those cities, like I mentioned. God used eternal flame, eternal fire, whatever you want to call it, to burn it all down, to, you know, get rid of that sin that was there, that was getting produced in that space. So, if you ever watch the Netflix series Lucifer, his club that he has, you know, very raunchy stuff there. You can say that Sodom and Gomorrah were basically two cities just filled with that sort of stuff without any boundaries. So, lots of sex, a lot of adultery, a lot of really bad things that could, you know, warp your mind, make you into something else. Meaning that once you were pure, and then when you go into these places, you will not be pure. So, yeah, Lot and his family are in Sodom. God, boom, Lot and his family runs out because God sends angels trying to save whoever is faithful, you know, good, out of there. And they find Lot and his family, and they explain to the family, don't turn around to see what's going on. So basically, just run, don't look back. That's basically what they were saying. But Lot's wife, she was not a she came across doubtful on the spiritual stuff. So she turned around, looked at it, turned into a pillar of salt. Crazy, huh? Lot and his wife had 2 daughters. After that situation, Lot's wife becoming a pillar of salt, Lot decided to take his daughters, and they hid in the mountains, in nearby mountains, and that's where they lived. And it got even more crazy. The 2 daughters living with Lot, they got to a certain age and they wanted to have children. They wanted to have children, which kind of reminds me of 2 of my cousins, which was interesting that they chose their particular lifestyle. They said that they were wanting to find a partner, have children, and that's what they're going to do. There was no talk about finding a job, creating some income, then building a family. Nope, it was just build a family, no income. I thought that was kind of selfish, but hey, I'm not gonna stand in their dreams. They went in and got it. They became partners, and they're now mothers. Anyways, where was I? I keep on doing this. Oh, that's right. Yeah. So the two daughters got Lot drunk, so drunk that Lot did not know he was penetrating his daughter. Well, they didn't do it at the same time. They did one after another. So one night, one daughter got Lot drunk, slept with him, got pregnant, and then the other one did it sometime after. Probably not the same the next night, but I could be wrong. Anyways, so that was pretty crazy, that whole thing there. And if Lot didn't decide to separate himself from Abraham, which I think is the fault kind of lands on Lot not being a man. I mean, he was a man, but he wasn't being a man. He was letting his wife tell him what to do. And because he let her do that, she is a pillar of salt, and he had sex with his daughters. If you don't let your man be a man, and things go wrong, don't blame your man. Yes, your man will be at fault too, but don't put all the blame on him. That sort of stuff goes two ways. But anyways, yeah, this I find it interesting. I mean, the storytelling, yeah, it's nice. There's, there's some things that are biblically kind of okay, but it sounds like whoever did the research was taking the information from obviously the comics. The comics people got their information from potentially the Catholic Church, and we know that the Catholic Church has some answering to do, but it's here and there. Not all Catholics are bad, but then again, even my church, the Seventh-day Adventist, was at some point, feared by the devil, Lucifer, and his angels and his demons. At one point, there was evidence that Lucifer was basically didn't have any power over my church, the Seventh-day Adventist. Now, I'm not so sure. I think Lucifer is able to get in and do stuff in my church. So I don't think any church in the whole world is pure anymore. There will be good people in the church, but there will be some people that would have been tainted by Lucifer's doing. It might be so small it can be excused as a mistake. The Netflix series pictures Lucifer as a person that looks for justice, and because he's got, you know, daddy issues, he's wanting to prove himself to his father, God. In a way, want to get back in the good books, but in the same time enjoy his life, sinful life. So he wants to continue being the devil, but also be a good son. I don't know. There's no there's no balance there. It's a little bit off. Either way, like I said, I'm only 3 episodes in the second season, and the second season, I see that, you know, the mother's there, and the whole idea, because so far, what I've seen and what I've understood is that God and this other celestial being, female, got together and created the angels. Not the biblical way, where Godhead created, then later on created earth and all the living creatures in it, and the rest of the universe, or universes, I should say. But yeah, let's talk about divinity as well. But humans can't comprehend it. Just one look at, you know, true divinity would make them go crazy. I can see that happening. That's why in the scriptures, Moses and other people have been in the presence of actual physical God, were told to not look directly at them, because of their, you know, their light might kill them, because they're super pure, and the light might, because human beings already are sinful beings, and sin is like the chicken pox. It's part of your system, and just want to go away. Chicken pox, when you get it, it goes away. Still in the system. You get to a point where you're, you know, stressing those areas out that has the you know, the leftover chicken pox, becomes shingles. Uncomfortable, painful situation that is. Don't want to. I would hate to wish that on anybody. Not cool, not fun. I've had it. One of the workers that I work with, Steve, he's just got it. Previous worker, she's all retired. She had it, and yeah, I didn't get it as bad as her. She had shingles on her head. Going to the showers would have been so painful. Combing the hair would have been painful. Mine. Now, these days, my pain is that I get itchy now and then, and I get the back scratcher and I scratch in that spot where I had it, and just, oh yeah. Just gotta be careful I don't scratch too hard, where I'll, you know, break some skin, and I'll start drawing blood. and then that's just not gonna cause, that's gonna cause more problems down the track. Anyways, like I said, Lucifer, the character in this Netflix series, Lucifer is a son that has daddy issues. Obviously, the creators that did the research on this are basically illustrating it as if Lucifer was a human. We know by the scriptures Lucifer was nothing like human. He's actually depicted as pure evil. And definitely goes against God. I mean, you think about what's going on in the world. God had already established things that were perfect, or pretty good, considering from human perspective. Marriage was man and woman. Producing child, you need man and woman. Penis, vagina, semen, sperm, ovaries, egg, uterus, all had all these tiny things working together as one to create new life or a new being. God already had the life ready to go. Relationships. The scriptures talk about it. Yes, the Hebrews, the Israelites, whatever you want to call them, they, put in some more rules, help them keep the rules that God had created. God gave them the 10 Commandments, and from that, the people at that time created more so they can keep those commandments. Funny that we human beings, we make things more complicated than it needs to be, and I find that more and more. I do it sometimes. Sometimes I choose the hard way, but not because I'm silly or anything like that. I just do it because I know that once I learn that lesson from doing it the hard way, I would understand it a little bit better than doing it the easy way. In a way, I would comprehend the importance of whatever it is that I need to do, and choosing the hard way to do it. I don't do it all the time. When I do it, it's coming from a thinking where when I achieve the lesson that I am trying to learn from the situation, I'm going to comprehend it in a way that it's going to allow me to remember it deeper, because I'm going to have an emotional connection to it, because that's how I remember things, is that emotional memory. I use emotion to trigger memory things. I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's how I do it. If I don't have an emotional feeling towards something that I need to remember, I'm going to forget it. I mean, it might be still in the back of the head somewhere, but I won't have, for example, filing cabinet. Go to a filing cabinet. You pull out the drawer, right? You got all these, you call them folders in, okay? And just folders, don't tag things. You're gonna have to do all that stuff, find what you're looking for. What I do with emotions is that I use emotions as the tag things for those memory slots. If there's a emotion connected to a memory, I'm going to be able to pull that out of the filing cabinet quicker than going there it is, whoop, boom. It'll be like, there's the tag, there's the connection, bring that up, there it is, boop. That's what I mean. And that's how I remember things, is having an emotional connection to it. Yeah, I'm sure that's the thing. I do it. It works for me. But yeah, I've been fighting, and concerned. If I watch Lucifer, I'm kind of like inviting that sort of stuff into my life. Yes, I'm watching it now, and I have to admit I do enjoy the storytelling, but I'm trying to keep objective in regards to the Bible information. I'm trying to keep that in the frontal lobe here while I'm watching. I'm finding, the first time I came across, DC and Lucifer, the character, is from the TV series, with the Flash, Supergirl, Green Arrow, all those. There's a part where it's called Crisis. I don't know if you guys were aware of that, but there was a comic for that where all these different comics came together, created a story, and it was pretty hectic. And one of the scenes from the Crisis, they kind of split up and get these things so they can get to this place, and they can confront this problematic situation with this being, right? So they break up in teams. I think there's 3 of them or 2 of them, I can't remember, but one of them, a team consists of other people and Constantine, I don't know if you remember that movie with Keanu Reeves plays Constantine, and it's like, the dark side of Christianity, Catholicisms, demons and angels and dead people and ghosts and whatever, spirits. But anyways, same character but played by a different actor. Constantine goes to this particular dimension, just different Earth, where Lucifer, this character, is established, and Constantine goes to communicate with Lucifer, asks for an item that's gonna help them get to somewhere else to get somewhere else. And that was the first time I got introduced to the character and the actor. Same actor is playing Lucifer now. I got it. Thank you very much. Welcome. Better out than in. That was the first time I got to see the character Lucifer in DC. I didn't realize that they made a comic with the character Lucifer. And I thought that was like, oh, that's interesting. And I guess this is me looking at it now, and I'm seeing, you know, the creators of the character. It's an interesting concept, an interesting angle at looking at Lucifer in a certain way, but you know, unfortunately, it's not biblical. It's not biblical. So I don't think I'm gonna have an issue continue watching this Netflix series. But like I said, I'm just going into season 2 now. Interesting to see what else happens. Because at the moment, Lucifer's decided to basically abandon hell, because he's supposed to look after hell, and he's the torturer, and he's got a demon person, female, to help torture the beings in there. And one of those beings was God's mate, female. And one of the angels actually took his own mom to hell and put her in the cell for torture and whatever. So that's super unbiblical, but to be able to, I guess, to be accepted to other human beings, it had to be like that. I don't know. That's the only thing I can think of why they made it like that and not keep it biblical. Anyways, Lucifer is this character. It's a person that seems pretty one-sided. I mean, he does take the characteristics of Lucifer, like he loves himself, thinks of him pretty high and mighty, but he understands that he's only a son, his angel, he's actually they designed him in a way so he's like human. Like we're praying to God, we know we're not receiving a direct conversation, and we don't know what God really wants of us. We're just doing what we're doing, and that's how this character Lucifer is feeling. He doesn't know, and he's just basically like us. It's written like us, but with supernatural powers. So yeah. So to my Christian brothers, the Seventh-day Adventists, that bit curious about this TV show and worried at the same time that might taint your thing, I say maybe start off with watching some of the short clips on TV show, and make a decision that way. And if you think you're gonna be okay going into the series, then go for it. I just know it is just storytelling, and it's depicted from the DC character Lucifer. Sure, the information and research was done, most likely, received from the Catholic Church, because there's no help. There's no help. The scripture clearly states, on the topic of the state of dead, is when our loved ones die, falls asleep in the deep sleep, whatever you want to call it, they're actually literally just sleeping. They're just sleeping. And then on the second coming, it states that those who basically are asleep, died in Christ, so those who understood Christ, took his teachings, and did the best that they can with that, and then died with that in their hearts, they will be raised up from the dead. And I believe it's not the bones and the rotten flesh that comes out. It's actually the spiritual body of your being comes out, and then taken up into the heavens where Jesus is. So just imagine this is earth. All the people that died in Christ. Heaven's over there. Constellation Orion. Jesus comes out, comes to earth. Obviously, because something's coming from outside in. It's gonna be a lot of and clouds and whatever. And when it comes through the clouds, everything gets opened up. You're gonna see behind, if you're looking down from the earth, looking up in towards Jesus, who's gonna be riding a cloud and apparently playing the trumpet. And you're looking up towards him, you'll see behind him is the constellation of Orion. That's why I believe that that's where God's kingdom is. It's in the constellation Orion. It's gonna come in, separate the clouds, then people who died in Christ will rise up, and then will be coming up, and those who are still alive on the earth that are righteous, that heed God's commandments, will be lifted up with the dead and meet in the sky with everybody, and then from there back to the constellation of Orion. I guess in that time of traveling, I don't know how I'm gonna do that, but either way, we got taken up, gonna go. So sci-fi people might be thinking that it's gonna be like some sort of spaceship, and then it's kind of like a beam me up situation. Beam me up, Scotty, and then into the vessel, and then anyways, like I said, use your imagination, whatever. But the Bible says, you know, Jesus is gonna be there. Dead's gonna rise, and then they're gonna get lifted up. And those who are still alive are good, follow God's commandments to the best of their ability. They're gonna be rised up too into the sky, meeting the dead in Christ, and then they all meet up, and then they go. They're gonna be in the kingdom for, you know, a good few years, and then they'll come back to the earth, and they're coming back on some sort of, you know, castle type looking thing, and I think it's either hovering over the earth, or it's landed on the earth. At some point it's gonna land on earth, and then before everybody comes out of this kingdom, this castle type thing, all those who are wicked, Lucifer and his fallen angels that are stuck on earth doing whatever they're doing, enjoying their last few years of their lives, God comes in, uses that same fire that he used to burn out Sodom and Gomorrah, uses in a larger scale on earth, burning everything. So Lucifer, angels, all the wicked human beings exist no more. That's what it says. The eternal flame consumes until there is no more, and then goes out. Earth, like, you know, a bushfire. After a bushfire, everything's all black, charred, whatever's left, it's like basically dead. But from underneath all that, we got new life. Earth is going to be made new, because this fire is just going to consume the whole surface of Earth. And then from the aftermath of that, Earth is going to be made new. So it's going to be luscious again. And then us will be getting out of this castle thing, and we're just going to go and do what we're going to do on the new Earth. And the capital of Earth will be the New Jerusalem, whatever that name may be. You know, this scripture says it's the New Jerusalem. That will be the capital of Earth. That's the capital city of Earth. So yeah, the end of the world, it's gonna be like, the signs are gonna be like birth pains. And the second coming is the actual part that is going to be awesome and scary at the same time, because after all this crazy things that are gonna happen on earth before Jesus comes down, it's gonna be hectic. The devil, Lucifer and his angels, devils I should say, demons, are gonna do more bad things to whoever is left here. I mean, especially, you know, all the Christians, those who want to follow God's commandments, right? It doesn't have to be Christians. Those who want to follow God's commandments, they're going to be attacked the most. Because Lucifer's main goal is to keep as much human beings away from God. When you think about it, Lucifer was a son. We human beings are God's children as well. But God also says in the scriptures that we human beings are much greater than His angels that He's created. You think about that. God thinks of us so highly. And that He sent His only Son, Jesus Christ, His Word, die on the cross to take all the sins of the earth on Himself, past, future, and present. Held Him up there until it was all done. It was up there until all the sins He was able to absorb, and then complete separation from God the Father and Jesus Christ. Complete separation. They had a connection the whole time until He put all the sin on Himself. Why do I say that? Because God said He can't be where sin is. And I'm thinking what they're saying there is that pure sin can't be in the presence of pure sin. Maybe because everybody's sinned, and therefore sin may get exploded in His presence. So we never get to see Him until we are made new in the Spirit and in truth. Because that's how He wants us to worship Him, in spirit and in truth. Crazy times, guys. A second coming is going to be an event worth waiting for. 100%. The Millerite movement was all about that. They were so excited about that information. Yes, misread it, and yeah, they were on the right path. They just, had a little detour of mistake. That happens because we're humans. We make mistakes. Once we understand it and accept that, we won't be able to move forward. I mean, at my workplace, I'm not gonna say where, when, or how, but in my workplace, I know the people that are in charge are gonna make mistakes, and I'm gonna be disappointed, but I know that mistakes are gonna happen, and there's nothing I can do about that. All I can do is say, okay, alright, move forward. And that's how I gotta do it. I'm dealing with people that are human. Human makes mistakes. They can be bribed, they can be lulled into I don't want to do. This is simply we either mistake the situation for something else, or there's something greater at work and you don't want your children to be, hurt by the things that are happening. Anyways, I think I'm diverting. So again, to my Christian brothers and sisters, if you want to check out Lucifer, the Netflix series, go in with an open mind. Go in with the concept that it is just another storytelling, and it might not be purely inspired by Lucifer himself, the real Lucifer. Just know the truth. Keep the truth in your heart, in your head, as you're watching this. You should be fine. Or just don't watch it at all. I was curious. I wanted to see it for myself. I wanted to see how different this Lucifer to the Bible was. And yes, there's a big difference. Super big difference. Similarities, yes, for sure. But big difference. Not the same character. I was gonna say something for I don't know what I was gonna say. I was gonna look it up, but I don't know. I don't know anymore. I don't know anymore. I hope that you guys been enjoying the little background music. The little piano with a little bit of backbeat, drum beat. Nice. It's good. Very good. In fact, I'm getting really super tired right now. What's the time? Oh, it's 2:18. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Yes. Just getting some accounts logged in. So yeah, I think might end it there, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it, guys. Thanks for the support. Oh, hang on, it didn't do it. Do it. There we go. So thanks for supporting the stream. Appreciate it, guys. Just you guys coming in and watching. That's all I can really ask for, and that's awesome. So yeah, don't forget to check out our social media. We got Facebook, we got Twitter, we got obviously the YouTube channel, And then we have Patreon, which eventually is gonna have more stuff on there, but we would love to support no matter what. Anything that you guys give us, that's awesome. Don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. Leave comments down below, let us know what's going on with you, and if you have any questions, go for it. Yeah, good. Yeah, one of these days I'll have some sort of things more organized, a little bit better, so it's a little bit seamless. But yeah, I don't think there's anything else I can do. What's this button do? Nothing. Nothing happened. Yeah, nothing happened. Alright guys, appreciate you coming in, and I think I detoured a few times there, so martial arts, thumbs up. If you come across this video and you have some suggestions on how I can do my martial arts online, let me know. Obviously it's gonna go towards the mission stuff that we create for make some money here. It's gonna go towards, you know, the mission, and then I'm going to distribute it to everywhere else that needs funds to go to. Might be, you know, things with the vehicles, things with the equipment, and our future aid members. So yeah, anything you guys do in regards to financial help is gonna be great, and we appreciate it, guys. Alright, I think that's it. That's all I got to say. Don't forget to leave comments down below, guys. Let me know what you guys are thinking, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Alright, hope to see you guys in the next video, whether it be live or edited previews. Alright, this is Journey signing off. Peace.